Hey guys, it's Kinsey. Welcome back to my channel. If you do not know me, my name is Mackenzie. I have been on OnlyFans and social media for 3 years, social media longer, and I have been putting out this video for a really long time, but this is my explanation as to why I quit OnlyFans. I don't want to quit social media because I feel like I could use my platform for really good and continue to use it. I've been off of OnlyFans for about a month now, and I'm sure people are probably, well, you guys are curious as to know why. This is my third time filming this. I'm not the best storyteller, but I came with notes this time, so this isn't like scripted. It's pretty much like just kind of off the dome. Let's go way back. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little story, okay? So let's go way back. Ever since I was younger, like really young, I have always wanted to be famous. I had an obsession with like celebrities and like beauty and fashion and the camera, anything, modeling, acting. I really wanted to be an actress. Modeling, acting, anything with the camera, dancing, singing, like whatever it was, I always loved it. And like that was always like a dream of mine ever since I was a little girl. And I always thought I was gonna be on like Disney Channel or something, because those are kind of the people I looked up to, like Selena Gomez, you know, all these pop stars. I'm 21 now, so when I was maybe like 13, 14, like I started making musicallys, you know, Musical.ly was a thing. I just loved the camera. I loved making videos. I loved the idea of just creating content like so much, especially during that era where it was like influencer area and like the Musical.ly. I feel like it's interesting to see how things have changed over the years. I started, I guess, making and posting content and it kind of going viral around the age of 16 all the way up until now. Yeah, I started posting TikToks when I was 16. I had over 1 million followers on TikTok and over 300,000 on Instagram before I was 17. Like it happened in a very, very short period of time. Just to put things into like perspective for you guys, like how big of a life shift this was, and I was still in high school. It was kind of during the quarantine era, like I didn't have school and have anything better to do, so and it got a lot of traction. The problem was the content I was posting for my age wasn't appropriate. Like looking back, it was not appropriate. It was very based off of like my looks and my body, and the reason why that content was getting attention was because I was basically, without comprehending it, exploiting myself. A lot of my followers were men. A lot of it was based around guys kind of lusting after me, and it continued to be that way for years and years. I went through something legalistic when I was 17. It was totally shook up my whole life. I would get into that in another video if you guys want me to. It's like another, I would say, really big part of like my story and kind of brought me to where I am today. So yeah, so I turned 18, you know, still having all my followers, and I started an OnlyFans. I think a lot of people were waiting for it and expecting it, which I think is very weird. It's very predatory looking back, and I see the patterns today in society, the same thing that happened to me, happening to a lot of girls. I was so impressionable. I didn't know what I was doing was, in my eyes now, really wrong. I was just very, like I said, super impressionable to like the love and the affection and like everything I ever wanted. I had it at such a young age, which was just the eyes on me. Like it wasn't even really at that point about money or anything. I was just like, wow, people see me, like I feel famous, but it was never a feeling. Like what I thought would have satisfied me at that time never did. And you'll see this in this continuous cycle up until today for the past year. So I went to college for 1 semester when I turned 18, still on OnlyFans. I left after 1 semester because I was making a lot of money, like immediately 6 figures a month for a very, very long time, which is why you could probably see how hard it was for me to leave. Background on me spiritually, I was never raised really religious. My parents are not really religious. Like I kind of knew who God was, and I did believe that there was a God, but I didn't have like a lot of structure, which there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm not saying anything about my parents. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was always kind of a deeper person. Like I loved deeper, more intimate like conversations and intimate things of life. So I feel like I was always searching for a deeper purpose. Around the time of like high school, New Age was very popular, so I did fall into the New Age category. Like, you are your own God, you manifest your own reality. You guys know what it is. That did not last very long. It was not very fulfilling. There's only so much we can control in our own lives. We like to think that we are so high and mighty. But for me, I felt like as long as I thought like that and I felt like that, the more out of control I felt and the more lost I felt throughout this. So I moved out when I turned 18. I moved to Florida. I'm from North Carolina, and I lived by myself. I didn't really have anybody. I was making the most money I'd ever made, like at least $200,000 a month. I was going out a lot, I was partying a lot, I was drinking, I was doing drugs, I was doing all these things. I was very much in the world and in this lifestyle that I thought, this is the peak, like this is my peak life and this is what we're supposed to be doing, because it was fun. Like at the time it was fun, but after a while it started to really weigh on my heart. And it was weighing on my body, not just my heart, not just my emotions. Not only was I experiencing depression and anxiety, like a lot of anxiety and loneliness and battling with this darkness and this emptiness. Like the way I could describe it is just really empty and really lost. I thought I was fulfilling that, but it was super temporary. And not only that, but physically, I look back at photos of myself and you can just see like how unhealthy I was. And I truly was. Like physically I was unhealthy because of the alcohol and the drugs, and then obviously that leads to not making the best choices whenever you're like feeding your body and nourishing your body and things of that. So things were just starting to weigh really, really heavy on me. It was just not fulfilling at all. I look back and I can't even imagine being that again and being in that space again, and remembering how I felt every single day, and then just kind of being encouraged by money, but it wasn't enough. And I was chasing making more money even though I was making 6 figures a month, which to this day doesn't make sense to me. Like it kind of just goes to show, when is it ever going to be enough? I believe that it's not, and it leads to those feelings and those things. So we're fast forwarding. I'm living this life for 2 years. So I had seen a lot at this point. Like I grew up really fast. Even before I turned 18 and I lived on my own and all these things, I grew up really, really fast. And I think that had something to do with me trying to find a deeper purpose in life. So I'm living this life for 2 years. About a year ago, everything catches up to me. Everything I was doing was weighing, just like I said, so heavily on my heart. I had nobody. I felt like I had nobody, and I didn't. I was like, how can I be living in this city for 2 years and I don't have anyone that makes me feel like I'm home, like someone, like a true friend and like someone I really look up to. Like I just didn't have that being here. And I remember it was one night at like 2 in the morning. I just felt so lost and I felt so empty that I prayed to God, or whoever I thought God was at the time, and I just begged him. Like I pleaded with him, which is something like I'd never really done before. I would pray here and there, but I was crying out, like just begging him, like, God, please bring me somebody that can show me who you are. Like if you are real and this is where I'm supposed to be and this is what I'm supposed to be following, like please, like I need something. Like at this point I needed structure in my life so desperately, like so desperately. And God is so good. Within a couple of days I met somebody and I just kind of knew. I was like, wow, like this is a person I prayed for. They introduced me to the word. We talked about God. And the past year, that was, like I said, about a year ago, I was getting more into the word. I was praying. I did believe in God, and I did believe in Jesus. My lifestyle was not representing Christ at all. I did stop doing some things, but for the most part, most of my lifestyle continued. And I would say that I was living a very lukewarm lifestyle. Like, I felt like the word in God and the Holy Spirit, I would feel it, and it would puncture my heart sometimes, but it wouldn't penetrate my heart, to the point where I was like ready to give everything up and surrender my life to Jesus. But I would definitely get hit with like some conviction, and it was very on and off. It was very on and off. There would always be some type of force that I feel like was always bringing me back to staying on the same path I was on. And it was really hard. It was really, really hard for me. I didn't know what was best for me. Still lost. Still lost and still in the world. Something I also want to touch on with my experience in the industry that I also think could relate to New Age was I was very much my own God. I idolized my body. I idolized my social media, my followers, the money for sure, the lifestyle, the traveling, the validation, all of these things I really idolized. And it was so hard. Like, being on social media and the comparison game, it led to a lot of unhealthy things in my life. Having a really unhealthy relationship with food, my body overall. I experienced a lot of, I guess you could call it body dysmorphia. Like I said, an unhealthy relationship with food. I don't like diagnosing myself with things, but all I know is that I was really unhealthy, which is something else that I really, really struggled with during this time, and honestly my whole life, because I feel like my whole life I have idolized my appearance. Not that we shouldn't take care of our bodies and our appearances, but it was a really big factor in my life and in my mental health struggles. It kind of all connected. Okay, so about a month ago, a little bit over a month ago, I was having a really, really, really tough week. Looking back, I was kind of in like a depression. I probably wouldn't classify it as that at the time, but essentially that's what it was. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to work. I felt so unmotivated by everything. And when I would pray, I just felt so distant from God. I felt like he was so distant from me. And I kind of gave up, like, even praying at that point. Even over the past 2 years, it's always been like a roller coaster. So at this point I was down in my roller coasters. It was always so drastically up and down. So I had gotten invited to a church service that week, and I knew I was gonna go. I had been to church like over the past year or so, but I just remember every time I would go into church, the weight and that heaviness would just get even heavier, because I know what I'm doing. And I know I believe in God, and I did think he was real, but I just wasn't willing to surrender what I was doing, which I feel like is why, obviously, I felt so far from him, and why he did feel so far, which isn't true at all. There was a lot of shame and a lot of guilt associated with God and with church, because obviously I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing is not biblical. It does not go with my beliefs. So it was hard for me to attend, and I knew that they did baptisms every service at this church that I went to, and someone asked me, "Oh, do you think you would do it?" And I was like, absolutely not, I'm not ready. Okay, I was not ready, guys. I went, the worship was hitting, it was hitting, okay? I was freaking bawling, okay? But that's not new, because I always bawl during worship. So I'm just crying, but the sermon hit. I literally felt like he was speaking directly to me. I felt really touched. And during worship, I was getting hit with like visions and feelings of this peace that I was searching for. And it wasn't for me, because as much as I could meditate and try to get myself to that place of this supernatural peace, it wasn't even close. So they do an altar call. It was not me who stood up and went to that altar. It was literally my spirit who was like, let's go. And I was like, I was just being led by the spirit at that point. I think God knew and I knew something had to change. I was so sick of living in this same cycle. So when I got to the altar and I had people praying over me, and the pastor was talking about surrendering and just letting him in, confessing my sins and accepting Jesus into my heart and into my life. When I was saved in that moment, like I said, I had a supernatural peace come over me. I had visions from him of how he saw me, how God sees me, and how he sees you, and how much he loves me, and how much he loves you. He loves us so much. It literally broke me. Like, all my attachments to the world, my attachments to my image and my identity and my body and myself and my world, my addictions that I didn't think were like addictions, my phone, alcohol, like all these things broke. They literally broke. And I had never felt more free in my entire life. I genuinely, guys, was set free from things I didn't even know I needed saving from. I didn't even know I needed freedom from. The unhealthy relationships with food and my body and with other people and with my phone and with my ego were broken in his name. Living such lifestyle that people would think from the outside is so high and so perfect. I just hope you guys know it was not me who made this decision. I would not have enough power. I don't have that much power over myself and self-control and discipline and enough willingness to have let go of this life and this thing that was holding me in bondage without him, without God. It was not me. But he allowed me to feel just a little bit of his glory. And all I needed was a willing heart. That was it. That was it. He did the rest for me. He did the hardest part for me. I just want to let you guys know, I don't know who needs to hear this. If you are in this lukewarm area in your life and you want to seek God, but you feel guilt or you feel shame or you feel like he won't love you or you can't attend that service because who are you to step foot in such a holy place? Because that's exactly how I felt. Those thoughts are not from God. They are from the enemy. He loves you and he will meet you wherever you're at. And that's what he did for me. He met me exactly where I was at, in my shame and in my guilt, and he washed me clean and he washed all of that away. And it was a supernatural experience. He gave me the strength to be able to let all of this go and surrender to a path that I know he will make right. He will make your path straight. That's what he says in his word. And that's how I feel, not knowing what I'm gonna do next, but he just let me know that there's a purpose. We all have a purpose in life, and it's not our job and it's not our responsibility to know that. The easiest way to get there is to submit yourself. Submitting control and surrendering is not you losing your power. You are not powerless in that. We cannot be the ruler of our own lives for as long as we are. We're gonna think we know what's best for us. What we want to do is not what is best for us. It's not the most beneficial thing for us. That day, December 12th, that night is when everything really, really changed for me. Ever since then, it's been about a month, which is so crazy. It feels longer. I have been following him. I have found freedom in him and what he's done for me and what he's doing in my heart and in my life. It's a process. I'm not perfect, will never be perfect. So that night I got home, I deleted over half my Instagram posts. It took a while for me to let go of like some posts. Slowly but surely I did. So I kind of restarted my Instagram. There's a couple of things up that I can't take down. Instagram won't let me for reasons I'm not going to get into. It's besides the point. The next day I trashed like half my closet. I threw away so many clothes that I just felt conviction for. I'm like, I don't need to wear this. You know, I'm not making content where I need to wear this. So I threw away everything. A lot of things in my home, like it just felt like I was shedding old skin. I was like, I don't need this anymore. It's been a process, and I do want to continue to post content. I don't know exactly what this means for me and what this means for my content and what this means for the rest of my life, but I am excited. And although I've received like a lot of backlash, I will continue to walk in faith and walk this narrow path. And I'm so grateful and I'm so blessed to have experienced God's glory just a little bit. Any girls who relate to my story at all, whether you're on OnlyFans or you're not, my DMs are always open. I want to be able to create a space for not even just women, but men as well, where we can be open, we can be vulnerable, we can talk with one another. That is something that I feel like would really satisfy not just me, but God and His glory as well. So yeah, stay tuned. I don't know what direction my content's gonna go in, but we're definitely going through a little change right now. So thank you so much if you watched this video. Let me know if you guys want to see more like this, what you guys want me to talk about, what type of videos you guys want me to make. Any girls, whether you know me or not, feel free to DM me. I'm here for you. We can always chat, and I love you guys so much. Thank you.